So with that, I'll let Vinney take over. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Ryder. Okay. So Monil Investment Group, that's our company's name. I have 4 companies I own. And there is one which is Ideal Investment Group, Ideal Management Group, that we started 11 years back. And then we started Monil Investment Group and Monil Management Group about 3 years back. So we'll just go right into it. This is a little bit about me. What I have done so far, I've done 26 syndications, and we have purchased over 3,500 units, apartment complexes. That's what I always have done. I became a broker in 2004. So about 13 years back, I didn't know anything about anything. Really. I mean, that's the truth. I didn't know what NOI was, what IRR was, what cash flow was. I mean, nothing I knew, but I just learned. I just made myself to learn those things, and then we are able to really kill it now because we are giving 8 to 10% preferred rate every year to our investors, and usually we come out with 18 to 26% IRR, which is many of my projects I've given 43.3% IRR. That's per year, and then 69% per year. That if somebody put in the money, they are able to get their money back plus 250,000. If they put 100 with me, they got in 6 years 100,000 back plus 250,000 on top of it. So we have had some very spectacular returns, and 3,100 or 3,500, 172 is what we have left. We have sold 10 of them already. I've done 26 syndications. We've sold 10, and then in the last 3 years, we have purchased 12. And 12 syndications we have done in the Houston area. We'll talk about that. And then again, I came to this country about 40 years back with $7 in my pocket. That's all you could bring as a student. And I went to George Washington University. I'm a mechanical engineer from India. I loved that field, and then I wanted to do MBA in marketing, and that's what I did at GW, but it changed my life. I sold books and encyclopedias and Bibles outside Georgia, actually, to earn tuition to pay for my college. And still, it's a very good company, very big company out of the South. They work with college students. That's what I did, and then I became a motivational speaker and fundraiser for about 37 years. So I stayed with one company 37 years. The best part was I was only working 5 months of this 12 months. That's the best part, and I had 7 months actually every year, a lot of time to do my own activities. I was a director. I had office right here in the East Bay, and I was able to kill it and make my living in only working 5 months out of the 12 months for 37 years. That's right. So that gave me more time to really understand and do real estate. We kept on buying single family homes, our family, my wife and I. And then we said, okay, in 2004, she challenged me. She says, you know so much about it, just, get a broker license. And I just, in 3 months, I read about it, I heard, and I knew quite a few things. So I passed it in first try in 2004, broker. And then I said, okay, should we open up a shop to sell and buy homes and everything? That didn't really appeal to me. Weekends, evenings, things like that. A lot of people do really well at it. But then I came to know about multifamily syndication. And that's what changed my life. So I started with zero money into our properties, and now we've gone to about 220 million was our peak that we owned that much, in 11 years. But let's go here, a little bit more, just a little bit, and then let's just talk about, I know we were talking about, Ryder and I've been a motivational speaker all my life. By the way, my company, when I retired about 3 years back, my $1 stock became $67. So I retired multimillionaire from my company. I was with the company 37 years. We had 2 companies when I started. When I left, we had 14 companies in that private branch, and we kept on opening more companies and things like that. So anyway, business strategies for 2018. I'd like to spend a little bit time with you. What's the real success? And I know all of you are really getting the year going. getting it started. And I just put this presentation together just a couple of days back, why 2018 will be different than 2017 or 16 or 15 or 14, as a matter of fact. So if you look at your business or your earnings, mostly when we are the CEO of our business. So you can look at it, what did you make, in 2014, graph it out in 2015 and 16, then 17, and where you want to be this year by December. And of course, that's going to be correlated with your sales volume and things like that. So each one of you I don't really know you that much, which kind of background that you have, so forth. But I just kind of took a, perspective like, okay, the reoccurring challenges this year. It's amazing. In every business, every facet of life, we are going to face challenges. No matter what happens, even though we had them last year, we had a good year or a bad year, this year also we're going to have same challenges unless we have taken care of them. So that's a huge part. And I really say that the big thing is the mindset. It's all in the mindset if you want to really rock it this year. In 2018, you can do 2x, 3x, 5x, whatever you want to do, but it's going to be dependent on how you handle it, right? And then I wrote down this one here. What are you really expecting? What are you expecting this year? Why would this year be a different year for all of us? Why? Why would it be? And what we do need to do to really make it happen. So then I say, how do you feel? We have already done 24 days of this year. I mean, 1/12, right? So only 1 month is almost gone. So where are you at? Have your sales gone up, or have you done more deals or more leads or things that you wanted to do so that the end of the year is going to be a different year than 2017? So we have to always look at that retrospectively, and that's what I was going to say right there, to change or not to change. See, the thing is, when we want to change just a little, not too much, I don't say too much change, but little bit change has to happen for us to do twice the earnings or 3 times the earnings. And it has happened in my life. When I never made $1 million, I said to myself, okay, you know what? What will it take to make $1 million? And you write it down. You write yourself a check. I wrote myself a check. I believe in positive energy. I believe in law of attraction quite a bit. I like all these books, Secret and all. And they have a check on their website. I printed it out. I wrote me a check for $1 million. And then later on, I forgot where I put it. And guess what? I made $1 million. Then I said, why not 2 million a year? What will it take? And I again set a goal and I beat it. Then I said, let's go for 3 million in a year. What will it take? What will it take in the business? So essentially, and I'm very close to it. I made 2.7 million last year. So very close. You got to really set high goals and then see what changes we need, what's important in life, and then the biggest thing is right here, what I'm going to talk about. What were your whys last year? And what are the whys this year? The reason I say that is, if we take $1 million, put it in a safe deposit, safe, and lock it up, and then we say that there are the keys, and you'll write down your goals to 2x or 3x, and what will it take? And if you accomplish that, by November end, you'll get the key to that safe. And it's got $1 million in there for you. How would we treat every day? What will we do every day? How would we set goals, the goal setting, and what things we'll do differently? Because, see, yesterday's gone. I mean, what we accomplished in 24 days, it's gone. But we can start a brand new one to set new goals, right? And all these things are the same. We all know about it. It's just that we need just to refresh and then concentrate that. How committed were you? Last year, how committed you were, and then how committed you are consciously and subconsciously to achieve those goals. Because the thing is, it takes very little effort to really hunker down and say, okay, this is where I am last 5 years or last 1 or 2 years, and this is where I want to be in the next 5 years or end of this year, break it down to smaller pieces. That's what that is right there, subconsciously or consciously. And then I wrote down, change is success. Really, the change, little change, not a massive change. It is success, and you'll see that in your life. The other thing I wanted to say was insanity. The definition of insanity is that if you keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again, we'll get the same results. So that's very important. I hope you will really remember that. It will echo in your mind. If you have already written the goals, have you stretched yourself? Have you thought about how 2018 is going to be different than last year? Then I wrote down here, what are we worth, really? See, many times I didn't reach that ceiling of $1 million. It was the fear of success. I never thought I am valuable enough to be earning that kind of money. But then I was looking at other CEOs, they're making $40 million a year. That's like almost, $1 million a week or something, right? Or whatever, or $800,000 a week. So what is your time worth? See, that is the key. If we look down to our goals and accomplishing them, it comes down to time. It comes down to the priorities in life, our commitment to it, and then how we spend time. And that's what I wrote in this little presentation. What's our time worth? What's an hour worth now? And what will it be worth when you do 2x or 5x or 10x? So if you do that calculation, it will really set your mind, the subconscious and the conscious, to start believing, you know what, am I going to be earning 35 or 55 or 85? Let's see here. We just did something over here. How committed are you? It all boils down to commitment. It really does. I mean, everybody can achieve success, but it's how we handle problems, how we handle downtime, how we handle active time, how we handle the productive time. Like the 80-20 rule, right? 80-20 is so important. In the daily activity, if we just took care of those 20% of the activity, that's going to bring 80% of the result, we'll be so successful. We'll be so successful in life. And then success means freedom. Success brings money, money brings all the things we want, and it brings a lot of other stuff, but freedom comes with that. Freedom. What's your time worth? What's the time worth? I just did a very small calculation, an hour worth at about 100K income, at about 40 hours a week. I took it, $48 an hour. Or if we work 50 hours, a lot of us work that way. If you are our own CEO of the company and so forth, so that's $38 an hour. What will it be at 300K? If we made 300,000, we are making $144, and we can scale it up to $500,000, 750, and so on. But what it really boils down to, then how committed are you? You can really see that. I've been thinking about commitment. That is the real thing in life. How committed can we get to our goals, and how committed we are on a daily basis in reaching those goals. That's it. We all know that. We really do. I mean, I'm not saying anything different. I'm not, really. And the good part is the freedom brings the lifestyle. I've never been so happy. I should have retired 5-6 years back because I don't need to work. But just when I retired from motivation speaking, I said, oh my gosh, I can get up whenever I want. I don't have to be anywhere at all, and I could plan my own schedules and travels and things like that. So let's go here. What's time worth? What is the time worth? Oh, I said that again, or what happened? Okay, entrepreneurs understand the importance of managing time, unlike just anyone else, and that is the key. If you look at all the different successful people, they really, really, really manage time. They manage time. That's what we have. They like to delegate, and they like to get other people on their team to get the job done so that, they're able to concentrate on bigger things in life, in their business, and so on. So I just kind of put this together. This is, let's internalize. The whys is the first thing. we got to really sit down and really put time why this year is going to be different than last year or 2 years back or whatever. What are the real whys? Really get into it down deep. And then we say gratitude and alignment. I know a lot of you probably heard about that. Gratitude is so important because if we are really giving good gratitude to the people in our life who we worked with yesterday or tomorrow, I do that every morning. I get up in the morning, maybe even 4:35. I never used to get up that time. I just get excited and I don't have to have coffee or anything. I'm ready to really listen to yoga and the chanting of the Indian music, songs from the ritual, and then go for a walk. When it's 25 degrees outside, I'm walking 7 to 8. I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to have a great life. I'll be 66 this year in August. And I have a good game plan, hopefully, for next 25 years. I have a vision board. And that's what we all need. We really need that vision board, and now it is digitally or picture or things like that. So gratitude is big because that really aligns you. That aligns you in the morning. And some people, yesterday I was in Danville. We are starting a new club there, multifamily with Vinney and so forth. And I'll be lecturing every month about different facets of multifamily, which is my specialty. Again, gratitude and alignment is so, so important for us to really get ourselves focused for the day. If we get the morning started right, then the whole day goes so well, so well. And then let's talk about it. I mean, we can talk a lot more. I'm kind of compressing it all, to get it in within 1 hour. We'll talk about other parts too then. Focus and goal setting. That is, again, we have heard about it, we know about it, but it has to happen. Writing down the goals on one page. I only believe in one page. I don't like thesis. I don't like too many pages. I like to look at the books. I never read a full book. I've probably bought 1,000 books in my career, but I never read the whole book. I only need to pick up 3 things from the book and implement them. That's it. I don't need to know from cover to cover what they're talking about. I just need 3 ideas. When I go to seminars, I look for 3 things again. When I managed my team of 67 people full-time now, in 3 years, I built these new companies. In 3 years, we have 67 full-time employees. I manage by asking them, what are your departmental goals? What are the 3 things? What are the 3 pros? What are the 3 cons? And everything in that very short, very detailed kind of thing. And again, the thing is focus. Focus is very, very important right over here. I don't know, it doesn't show, but that's okay. Focus, again, I talk about, the magnifying glass. If you take it out in the sun, magnifying glass, the sun's rays, you can move it up and down on the back of your hand. It will not burn until the focus is there. When all the energy goes into here, the hand starts burning. That's the same way in the focus. When we get really too focused in our life on the goals that we want to achieve, and you might say, Vinney, it's not that easy. It's not. It will never be easy. It will never be easy. I fired my VP yesterday, but the thing is, you move on. You move on because you got to really do what's right for your organization. When you find that things are not happening, you got to take action. You got to take action real quickly so that you're, hold the interest of everybody and all that. So focus is very, very important. Goal setting. Then I wrote down, what did I write down? Let's see here. Okay, prioritizing all roles. That's huge. Again, prioritizing our time, prioritizing what's important. A, B, C, D, and not to worry about rest of the things, only doing the top 3 or top, whatever. And then roles also. The reason I wrote roles, because as a husband, as a father, as a CEO, as, colleague, as my, friends, all that, as a social person, we got to be living every day in different roles. And we got to really prioritize our time and our commitments in those roles. So that's what I meant there. I wish I could have more time to really expand on these. Yesterday I spent almost 1 hour just on these very, very succinctly. But actionable plans, that's the key, by the way. Whatever I've talked, if you don't think about anything else, but just think about mindset. If you can take tonight, the mindset, what will it make you great this year as compared to last year? What are your whys and what your goals are, and what will you be worth in the time-wise? What you're, like last year, what you made, you could figure it out very quickly, and how much time you put in, how much you made per hour, and then you can figure out what you want to make this year, and then figure out what will it be worth to you per hour. That's going to give you the actionable plans. The biggest thing is actionable plans, and delegation is so very important in life. My business grew like crazy when I hired an assistant and then 2 assistants, not in this business, in the motivation business. It was freeing up so much time for me. I loved it. And I was making like, I don't know, $160 or $70 per hour. I was paying only $25 an hour. That was a great trade-off, very good trade-off, And then the person I hired, they were doing better job than I could on the back end. I was getting in front of the stage and everything and all the good things, which I love. But the things I hated, I found the people who really loved doing those things. And they were great at it, So I would really like to challenge each one of us tonight to really look into delegation. It's very big thing, and your life will change. You'll have more time, you'll have more energy, you will be able to really think and plan much bigger things in your business and so forth, because you will have other people doing the jobs that you shouldn't be doing. I know I used to give a lot of lectures about you have an assistant, and people say, no, I don't have an assistant, I don't pay anybody. I said, yes. Get up in the morning, and when you're doing toothbrush, look in the mirror. You are the assistant of yourself. If you look through the day, you will find it certain activities you're doing which you shouldn't be doing. And that's a big thing. That's a mindset. If you can really figure out what are the times that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, but get somebody else to help you. Many times we feel, oh no, I can't afford an assistant, or I cannot delegate because they won't do a good job. Yesterday, a question was asked by me. They said, I don't want to give up because I just want to make sure. I said, that's so true, so true. I felt the same way too. But if we train the person right, we get the right person and give the responsibility and guide them and then see the results, they can do better than us, really, in those activities. I believe in that 100%. So actionable plan is really big. You got to get to action. We could sit down and write down all the goals we want. We can write down all the whys we want. Unless we have the actionable plans to implement today, tomorrow, and day after, that's what it's all count. Doesn't matter about yesterday. I really believe in forward thinking. I just don't like to really tear me down for the things that didn't happen yesterday. And I call it as the downtime. There we go. Productivity and less downtime. That is so important, because a lot of us get into if we lose a sale or something bad happened to us or something happens, we just say, oh my gosh, why me? And things like that. And then we go into a spiral down rather than coming out of it. So by really managing that downtime to be less and being more productive, it's just amazing how things can really flip. They can really, really make, big difference. I hope that's something you might remember, And small and big rewards, I really believe in that. I believe giving myself big rewards. Like I said, I used to work only 5 months of the year. 7 months I had a lot of fun. And we had a little bit work, but I was really pursuing, other things that I liked and so forth. But I believe in giving rewards, like taking my wife out for shopping on Wednesday evening or Friday, 12 o'clock, knocking off, because, you have done your work. You can accomplish 5 days of work in usually 3 days, I found. It's amazing. It's totally amazing. And when you give yourself reward, your subconscious likes it. And it likes even more. And then the whole circle starts being in such a production that you are able to crush lots of I like crush. We like to go to Tony Robbins and things. I've had a lot of mentors over the years. Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, Jim Rohn, all of them. We took the whole family to Tony last year in Los Angeles. So all these people, I'm just a product of everybody that I have really learned from. The Google and YouTube are amazing centers to get us positive and, looking at some videos which can really get our mindset rather than watching TV or things like that. I love also Automobile University idea. What that is, we are traveling many times. So why to look into the talk shows or other things or like there's time for the music, but mostly why not to feed our mind with the positive thoughts and really happiness and so forth like that. I smile a lot. I do. Actually, my cheeks really pain if I don't smile. It's just become the other way around, And it's just the positive attitude. It's just the mindset. It's just the shield around me. Nothing bothers me. Nothing bothers me. Really. Anything can happen unless it's death, or taxes, right? Taxes. We have to pay taxes, right? I have to record that. And we paid lots of taxes. Anyway, small and big rewards, right? And then we say celebrations. I really believe in celebrations, and life and so forth. So let's just kind of, I hope this was a small condensed version of kind of goal setting for 2018. And I hope you picked up one or two ideas. Give me some feedback. Any feedback? I know we'll do Q&A after that also. How much is the time now? If I may go into...
You're at your halfway mark.
Oh, halfway. I love it. Perfect. So let me kind of take you to my world. Is that okay? If I may. Okay. My daughter actually, by the way, I also do Facebook Live on Friday morning, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Facebook Live. I answer questions about multifamily syndication all through the country. People ask me on the Facebook Live and things like that. So if you'd like to join me and ask me any questions as you would like, I would love to do that. Let's go here. What's the next one? Okay, what we do essentially is, let me kind of share with you, I mentioned that I'm into syndications. I mentioned about we've been purchasing. But when I started looking into syndication and multifamily, the numbers did not work in the Bay Area. I'm sorry to say that. A lot of you probably know that, right? The cost is so high. What you need to put in, that's the cash on cash to find out what the net operating income after paying everybody. And then you pay the mortgage. Then a little bit is left, and then you say, oh my gosh, cash on cash is only 4% or 2% or whatever. So we went to Texas. I made a decision about 11 years back that let's find which city in Texas has the lowest unemployment rate. And we looked at lots of different data and charts and everything. We found Odessa, Midland had 3.24 unemployment rate, 3.24. We said, let's go there. My partner and I, We said, okay, we'll go there. And then we started talking to the brokers over there. We started building some relationships. And we saw some products. It took us about a year, almost 10 months, 11 months to even buy our first property. Nobody knew us. We had no track record. We had no money in the bank. We had nothing, But then it all happened because we got a seller financing on 109 units and 101 storage units in one lot in Odessa, Texas. We bought for $2.4 million, $1 million down. So it was like 40% down. And then the promissory note said 6% interest rate, next year 7%, next year 8%, next year 9%. We said, we'll take it, And we sold that property, by the way, for $5 million. To 2.4 to 5 in 6 years we sold it, and we gave our investors returns of 43.3% annualized. So every year they made that much profit, towards the end we gave them the equity gain and so forth like that. Okay, so let's go from there to then we kept on buying right there. We kept on buying a second property, third property. We bought 7 over there. And now we have 3 we are selling. But I want to tell you, we went through the cycle because the risk count went down. And we had the staying power because we had refinanced those properties, the 3 we are selling now. We had pulled out all the money and we let it ride. Our investors got their money and more, and they were making like infinity percentage because no money was in it, and they were just making cash flow still. And then we wrote the system, and now we are back again into 98% at these 3 properties. And we were making $45,000 a month, net a month, 120 units or something, which is very hard to make it in the Bay Area, right? So anyway, that's where we were. Then we went to San Marcos, San Antonio. We found from the brokers that what's the A-class area? We always like to buy C in A or B in A, We never buy A because A properties are very expensive, first of all. Secondly, transient also, because the people who can afford that at a high level, they are there for a few little months and then they buy their own homes. We found that also true quite a bit. So we only buy B's and C's and we put them all, together and value add and things like that. So I think I would love to answer more questions. This is my, again, daughter put together. She's our director of marketing now, out of the 67 people. And then why multifamily is a great investment. A lot of you probably already hopefully know. But the biggest thing is this slide. I would love to show you, our whole, the home ownership has been declining. That's what it shows right there. Look at that over here. Look at other things. The rental vacancies are also stationary or going down. And then the biggest part is, look over here, according to the National Council of Real Estate, we have the impressive property prices have appreciated because of the compression of the cap rates a little bit, and then also because of the NOI getting increased because of increased rental and so forth like that. This is really amazing. This is a good slide right here. So in other words, why I love multifamily? There are less vacancies because if you have single family home or duplex, one tenant leaves or you're 50% empty, right? Or the vacancy. If we have 100 units and only 2 people leave, we have 98% occupancy, only 2%. So that's a huge part. Less vacancies, economies of scale. If we have 30 units, 30 homes right around in the Bay Area, that's 30 roofs to really take care of. Maintenance person has to travel all over to take care of the 30 houses. There are 30 transactions, rather than if it's all together 30 into an apartment complex, 1 transaction, 2 roofs maybe, 1 maintenance person. So just the economies of scale are amazing in multifamily. The other part is the forcible appreciation. Amazing, because even if you buy a duplex or singleplex or fourplex, it's going to be how the area is, what's the market comparison. That's going to determine its value, not through the NOI. But in the multifamily, it's a forcible appreciation. By increasing the rent by $100 or $50, you get such a big, tremendous increase in the value of the property. Question, I just bought $23 million worth of properties in Georgia. I've been starting my company in Atlanta. It's gone there now, 10 assets. Now I bought 2 in Georgia. I'm going to buy 5 more there this year. Then we are going to North Carolina, South Carolina, Tech Triangle, all the places where jobs are, where people are really looking forward to, really enjoy. So I do a lot of, what's it called? Emerging markets. Emerging markets. That's the big part. I always go after jobs. I do a lot of studies, and then we go into it and go buy lots of apartments. Everything I bought in the last 3 years, I don't know if my daughter has that, but I'll show you. So that is the one where properties have gone way high just because we increased the rents. I was thinking about Georgia. I bought this property. I know our rents are $250 lower than the next door neighbor. $250, 267 units. So if you just multiply, if I get it to 100% or 90% even, times that 200, let's just take, it's going to double or triple my property value. Within 3 years. Within 3 years, it's going to be triple. I paid 10 million something, it's going to be worth $30 million. You know, what can you do with that kind of steep appreciation? That's only in multifamily. You could do that. I don't think you can even do it in an office space or industrial space, because you get your tenants for 5 years or 20 years or 15 years, you can't increase by 3%. So that's why I never deviated from multifamily. And I'm totally focused on that, because millennials now, the young people, it's such a big, population of them, they don't like to buy homes. They like portability. They like to be in the apartments, B-class apartments with amenities and gyms over there and swimming pools and, media centers and all that. And then the seniors like me, 66 and above and all around there, they are going down. They are just going from single family down to senior communities, see? So multifamily, I hope if I can release, everybody kind of, get excited about that. I'm very high on that. Higher cash flow, big cash flow, we give out maybe $250,000 to $750,000 to our investors every quarter, every 4 months. We give out, to them, because we pay quarterly to our investors. Tax breaks, amazing tax breaks. Depreciation, amazing depreciation savings with the cost segregation and things like that, where we can take the whole value minus the land, and we depreciate not over 27.5 years, but lots of portions of the building, the circuits and everything, and the wiring and the knobs and then, drawers and all that, they have a different life, like 5 years or 15 or 27. So like my investors are going to just love it, because they get, accelerated depreciation, they get cash during the year, but then when they come with a K1, it shows negative. It shows the property went in loss, paper loss, even though they made a lot of money and we made a lot of money, so they don't have to really pay taxes, which is amazing. Hold their value. That's the other part. The thing I want to talk about here, number 7, is I like the biggest leverage in the starting, because I'm on the loan. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, small business loan, conventional loan, or institutional loan, or local banks, they love to pay 80% loan. I mean, they like the deal, they like everything. So 20% down gets us the property, but then we do the value add. By doing value add, the LTV goes down. It's at the starting, it's at 80%, but a lot of our properties are at 55% now, because the value of the property has gone so up. And the loan is decreasing every month when we are paying down the interest and the principal. So that's going down. So I know a lot of people ask me, Vinney, what will happen if the correction comes? In the multifamily, that's the one facet which stays intact in the downturn also. Because when the downturn happens, some people will be moving from homes to apartments. Shopping centers might be closed, or strip shopping centers, some businesses might close, things like that. Hospitality will go down, maybe industrial will go down, but multifamily is one particular commercial sector that really is very, very nice. It's like small dip and then back again, So that's a big one, hold their value. Okay, alrighty. I think, is it about, and should we do the question answer? And then what we look for in our properties, and then other stuff, what our whole company does, 5-step process. These are our communities right there. These are the 12 we have bought in just 2.5 years, and I was just doing syndication after syndication after syndication, and now we are LBM, for example. I bought it over there 2014, November 19, 192 units, 8.7 million. It's worth 11.7 actually. The new one, this is a little bit old, 12 million is the new one. 12 million 2, I think, is the new quote. So we have making about over 3 point some million. It's a cash cow. It's just wonderful. I mean, the seller put in, when I bought it, 2.6 million into it already. Everything is brand new. Interior, balconies, roof, everything. I fixed just the parking lot, and that's all, It's amazing. Look at this one. This one I'm selling for 8.6 million. I bought for 3.550 right there. 156. They were like 16 unit burnt. And the seller was from right here, San Anselmo. But they didn't want to go there and take care of it. They got some money from the insurance. They said, we want to sell it. So I offered 3 million. They countered at 3.5 million. I said, done. Let's do it. And then I'm just selling it for 8.6 million, 3.750 in 3 years. That's the profit, for my investors and my company. Terrace Villa, that's near NASA. Beautiful, beautiful property. 3.6 million was invested in it, and it was already renovated. It took them 2 years to renovate it from a C class to a A class, because interiors are all brand new, molding and all steel appliances and everything. Just like a rolling garden. It's beautiful, beautiful. Just like you're living in a resort kind of property. And I have a contract for 12.750, 3 point. That's also in 2.5 years, So there are some big numbers. You can really make them big in multifamily. That's all I want. I don't want to taunt or anything, but there is something to be said. In multifamily, this Monaco Villa, this is a very good one. I think I was sharing about the sewer lines with somebody. Yeah, this is the property right there where the seller actually has shut this down, and then this was like a junkyard when I bought it. If I show you the picture of it, we made the residence center out of it. There was no ceiling, there were no walls, nothing. It was all just mud, and then 3 unit buildings, 8 of them, they had not operated for 2 years. Because the sewer lines had broken down. They went down. When they break, then it gets mushy, then it goes down. So I know how to fix them. I get the plumber to do the whole video cameras, and then they give me estimate. It took me only 32,000. And then now we've increased the NOI, doubled it. We got an award from the city right there, and now it's worth right about 12 million. I paid 6 million something like that. Anyway, I think that's pretty much. Oh yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I just started this in my 27th syndication, but this time I'm going big. So I just launched it last Friday, $50 million fund, because some of you might be thinking, is there a way to invest with Vinney to get these kind of returns and things like that? You can invest. You are Class A members. My company's Class B members, so you get paid first before anything happens. In this $50 million fund, we'll be buying about probably close to 10 properties. And then the best thing is it's diversified, because it's going to be in Atlanta or Georgia, in North Carolina, South Carolina, in Texas, all over. St. Louis, I'm looking at 300 units in St. Louis. Really good off-market deal. I've just built those relationships with the brokers, so they send me deals, and once you get on their good books, they give you those before anybody else gets it. Not on LoopNet or CoStar or anything, they never see it. So that's how we do, business that way. So in other words, the company will be owned by its members. There are 2 classes of members, Class A, Class B management right there. And the vision is, again, the investor provides the competitive advantage, the residents, the tenants, and then employee, and then the partner right there. Then this is another one. We target always B and C, like I mentioned to you before. In just 3 days, I got $6 million committed from my investors. I had 0 investors, but now I have word of mouth, and I have 114 investors I just saw yesterday. So they are just letting me know now, okay, Vinney, put me down for 250, put me down for 400, put me down for 200. 100 is minimum. And also it's for accredited investors. What that means is accredited investors, if you have a net worth of $1 million or more, excluding the gain in your home, or you will be making $200,000 yourself for the last 2 years, or $300,000 combined with the spouse, last 2 years. So the reason I did that, because it's every other one I have been able to take sophisticated investors, which are not $1 million and otherwise, but this is a big one. It's like 50 million, and I could advertise, I could do anything I want. I can talk to anybody who doesn't even know me. They can also come in and invest in it. So that's why I took that route in this one. And it's got a website of its own, Monil, multifamilyfund.com and so forth, if anybody's interested like that. So that'll be all right. And then the last thing I would like to say, if you are interested in knowing a little bit more about what I do and everything, I have been interviewed by, I think, 29 different shows just in 1 year. I mean, I was not even known to anybody. I was just doing my own stuff in the East Bay. And but then I got on the podcast and things like that. And now I have my own academy, because my passion is to really teach everybody and give them the tools to be successful. So if they join my academy for a very small fee, I give them my business plan, I give them my presentations, I teach them how to talk to investors, brokers, all that. And it's all recorded. I've been recording for 1 year, 300 hours. And every question anybody needs to know, I have answered that. And then I will be answering some more. I have 5 students only at one time. And then I do like 1.5 hour session. We record them. And then my digital people go ahead and find out if there is some material. They could put it into the website for Academy and so forth like that. And then Youth Academy. I know Mary was asking you about that. Youth Academy, I really have big heart to give back to the community. So I really like to build that one without any fee. And that is for talking to the high school students and college students to really get into the mindset of owning real estate and owning a business and really saving money and not, using money for, other stuff, but starting into building a small business at the age of 18 is my thinking, and getting a duplex or fourplex at the age of 22. That's my goal. So that's something also over there, And you can go to VinneyChopra.com. That's where it is. Everything is right there. I'll just close it up right there. So Vinney with a E in there, Vinney. I have some business cards if anybody needs it. And then Monil Invest is our other site. And Monil Communities is where all the properties we have bought in the last 3 years, they are there. And then, of course, you can call me and so forth like that. Okay, I'm all yours. Tell me. Yes, sir. Hi, Josh.
Hey, good. So thank you, first of all, for coming and talking to us.
Thank you.
And I was just going to say, for somebody who's just starting out, being that the cap rates are so low and compressed these days, or that's what I hear anyway, as far as for multifamily, would you suggest somebody who's starting single families, or really just jump in the deep end with multifamilies, since it's kind of saturated from what I've been hearing?
Okay, it all depends where you are going. I mean, if you're looking for in California, I don't do a lot of research here. I did hear people are going to the Central Valley. I mean, it all depends. Huh?
I'm thinking out of state.
Oh, out of state, definitely. Oh, no, I'm very bullish on everywhere. Cincinnati, Columbus, Oklahoma, Birmingham, St. Louis. Atlanta, the properties have gone up, but still there are pockets. I bought mine for $37,800 a door in Atlanta, in a good growth area, just because, I stumbled into something. So nuggets are there. I will not go into single family. I'm sorry. I know. I hate to say that, because once you stay in single family longer and longer, you're going to be far away to go into multifamily. So my thinking is to really pool the money together legally, which is called syndication, and then you can buy 20, 50, 100 units, I say 70 units as the minimum, because then you can have a full-time employee, the leasing agent and the manager, and also a full-time lead maintenance, who is HVAC certified, and he can take care of the apartment complex. I would highly recommend going to multifamily. So even if you want to buy in California, buy 6plex or 8 or 12 or 15, because it's more expensive here, But go multifamily. Anybody? Yes, sir? Yeah?
So,
Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Yeah.
I know a lot about depreciation, and I think that's great with multifamily, but how does that work when you sell the property out of a syndication? Do you then have to pay back what's been depreciated, or can you 1031 it into a new property?
Okay, good point. Good point. Actually, I had a lot of discussions with some attorneys and some CPAs lately, and there is something called swap and drop and swap, I think it's called. In other words, it's a syndication up to the time of closing, and then about a month before, they turn it into TICs, tenants in common, it's called. So please look into that, and you can, if you email me, vinneychopra.com, I would love to give you the contact of the attorney we talked to and the CPA, and they do that. I think he's in Portland. And then he made it very clear. He says, oh, sure, I do this all the time. And then the only thing is, once you change the formation of the company from a LLC to TIC, the only thing the lender can ask you is called the loan. But you're already closing it, and they're going to get paid off anyway. See? So that way you can make it into fragmentation, and then people can take 1031. The only problem in my fund is that you cannot bring 1031 in. I can take out 1031, but not in. Sure. Anybody else has some question? Yes, please. Hi, Ron.
Hi. Do you recommend starting on your own multifamily, a smaller one, before actually going with a syndication?
To be truthful, it's what I teach actually is to just have a partner with you. If you have a high net worth, you have nothing to worry about. Because you need to have net worth equal to the loan amount of the property, and then have liquidity of about 6 to 8 months after that. That's what the lenders look for, along with the down payment and other expenses and due diligence and all that, right? But I really believe in syndication. I believe in, pooling the money together. There's so much money around us. It's funny. It's so funny. Everybody has money in retirement accounts, and they can do self-directed IRAs and Roth IRAs. They are just getting so small percentage, and you promise them 8% per year, they're going to jump at it. And you're doing all the work to get the deal put together, and you get acquisition fee, you get the partnership and everything, So it's huge business. I mean, even though my investors make tremendous returns, and they are entrepreneurs, they are doctors, attorneys, right here in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and all over USA, but guess what? They don't care how much I make. I make 4% acquisition fee. When I did $23 million deal just recently, I made $910,000 that day. When I closed the deal, I got paid that much. I own 40% of the $23 million because our investor in the model, investors get 60% and we get 40% to put the whole thing together. Then I manage it also. We get 4% of the monthly rents. So we make about $600,000 a year on managing the properties, And then when we sell it, guess what? The gain of $6 million or $5 million or whatever, 60% goes to the investors legally, and 40% comes to my company. So there is a ton of money in syndication business. And the only thing is you got to just learn it a little bit and apply it and get the friends to help them. And then you have the power to buy bigger and bigger. My first one was 14 units, by the way. 14 units. Then we went to 109, then 72, then 66, then 132. In my new company, I never wanted to go to 15, right? I just smashed it at 192 straight, Then 160, 150, 140, 156, now 267. Now I'm looking for 400 units, to put the deal together. So I hope you caught the vision,
Is there a bar on the deal, on the property size and the number of doors that you would start out?
It all depends your buying power. It all depends if you can get loans. That's the main thing, and your experience. I mean, I always suggest in my courses that you got to build with a property management company. We manage ourselves, right? We have 4 companies. I'm president of the 2 old ones that we are shutting it down, and the CEO of the new 2 companies. But, answering your question, it's going to be really based on where you're buying, and then how much can you afford to get loans for, and then bringing the management team to really run that property rightly, That's the other part. It's not just the buying it, it's to make sure it's run properly. I would say, if you go small, you will jump into. I just always say, it's the same transaction. The bigger apartment is just few extra zeros. That's it, really. I mean, it's much easier to manage a 70-unit building as compared to 20 units. That I can tell you. Because the numbers are so small and everything. So I know it's hard. It's fear. if it will be good or bad or whatever. But, you can get a good mentor or coach, and they can really, crush it for you, surely. I don't like to mentor. I'm going to be totally retiring after about 4 months. I wouldn't be doing any more, lecture. Maybe do lectures in Danville, which I have committed to for once a month. But we like to travel and things and like that. Yeah, please. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but maybe this is a two-part
Uh-huh,
question.
sure.
Now the first part is, in your syndications, how much of a stake or how much money do you put in? And the second part question is, let's say someone has some money
Sure.
and they're thinking about investing. At what point would they be better off doing a syndication in terms of the extra money they would make from doing a syndication versus just putting their money into multifamily?
That's a good point. Very, very good point. Let me kind of share with you. The big thing is, like, if you get with a good syndicator, me or somebody else, there are lots of them, and if they give you a consistent returns and track record that they have given 18 to 24% per year, that's a lot of money. I mean, if you put the money in the bank today, you get on checking account 0.15, I think, right? Or 2% CDs you locked in. In the real estate, because you are gaining with the value add and the property value and the cash flow from the property, that's how we can pay. Most of my properties, I have 12.5% cash on cash. I give 9% to my investors. I keep 3%, see? So you have to have that, right? So you have to buy the property, right? Answer your question. It's your strength, sir, I mean, it will take a lot of effort to be a syndicator. I don't want to just stand up here and say, it happened for me overnight. It didn't. We went through a lot of challenges, lots of different things. I spent $160,000 with my coaches, Dave Lindahl and his group, when I learned this whole tricks, And then a lot of people, like you said, how much I put into it, It's amazing. It's how I was taught by the syndication attorney, #1 attorney in USA, Gene Trowbridge. You could go on Amazon, just put his name down, Gene Trowbridge. He teaches, he's CCIM, and his company has been the one making my syndications 26 years. I always go to the top. I always like to go to the top. And he said, Vinney, guess what? How much equity are you putting in? Sweat equity. He says, how much money have you spent in? Who's on the loan? You are on the loan. Investors are not on the loan. Investors are passive investors. You are the one who are really finding 6-7 months it takes or whatever to find the property, and then you have to run it for 5 years and then you sell it. So answer your question, equity you put into is immaterial, very small, exactly. But the key thing is you share and you put it in the legal papers, and as long as the numbers are correct with the underwriting and everything, and you are giving those returns to the investors of 18% to 24%, I've given up to 69%, they don't care. They don't care what I put in there. You know what I mean? But the lenders do require you. They say put 100 down or 200. I think the maximum I might put maybe 100 in there. That's it, yeah.
Okay, but as an investor, should I care how much money,
No.
how much real equity you're putting?
Not at all. Not at all. I would say 100% not at all. The reason is because you are looking for your returns, and the risks that a syndicator is taking is much more than the money that you have, that you have put into it. So it doesn't make sense to say, oh, syndicator, you are taking 40-60. Take 20 only. He'll say, take a hike. You know what? I've got the proven record. I've done everything. My deals are really great. So, that's how it works. I don't know if that's the right answer. Not cocky, but that's what it is. Yeah, So that's what it is. I know I have had, maybe out of 114 investors, 2 investors challenged me. I think about 5 years back. They're still investing with me. They said, Vinney, how do you make so many, commissions and this and that? I said, let me show you. So my attorneys and we sat down. We wrote 3 pages long, the whole process, how to find a property. And we wrote to them and we gave it to them. Can you do it? And the answer was no. I'm busy in my work. I said, you're right. So then you're okay with getting 34% then, right? That's it. That's all it took, Anyway, So thank you for asking. This is a very valid question. I was just in Denver last week with 140 CEOs of different companies, and it's a invitation-only group. And that's where we were talking also. Acquisition thing came up there because I was doing a lot of syndications, and there were a couple of people there, and they asked me, "So, Vinney, what do you say?" So I gave them my whole 3 pages answer, and I looked in my Dropbox and gave it to them. I said, this is how you tackle it right here. Okay, more questions. I know we spent a lot of time on that one. Yes?
I have a question. It's more technical. So can you walk us through the end-to-end process from when you receive the call from the broker that there are like properties available in another state to when you decide to purchase? Specifically, I'm curious about what do you look in the property? Do you send a team in the place for doing inspection, evaluate the neighbors, evaluate the area, and like understand what can be like the after repair value, or like what can be the value after 5 years?
Huge. What you're asking me is like, it'll take me a whole day. Really, starting from the morning, because the thing is, it's different facets. Please go on my website, vinneychopra.com. I write blogs every week now. And also there is an ebook called Spinning 5 Plates. That will really help a lot. As a syndicator, you have to spin 5 plates. One is the plate of investors, because if you don't have investors who are going to bring the money, you have no business, right? That's one thing. Secondly is the broker relationships. So you got to have broker relationships. You determine a market where you're going to buy. Then you have to put grinding, talking to the brokers, sending them messages, meeting with them. If it's remotely, maybe meeting on FaceTime. I teach that every 10 days you need to be in touch with them, because you're a newbie. They don't care about newbies. They want to say, okay, I want to sell this property yesterday. So they're going to ask you, okay, how strong are you? Do you have money in your pocket? What's your net worth? All those things, So those things. So it's a big process where you go through and then you underwrite the property. When you get the property, you have to look at what the seller is asking for and how it's operating, right, on a yearly basis. And of course, I have big underwriting and everything that I've perfected. And there it shows the real numbers. I never marry a property. I tell everybody, I only marry the numbers. Only the numbers. If the numbers don't look good, I'm out of there. I don't want to even go there. I don't want to look at it. First I want to see the neighborhood. So once they send me, I call it napkin listing in my book coming up, because lots of brokers don't have listings anymore. They are trying to get the listing from the seller. So they're just meeting on a napkin and saying, oh, Mr. Seller, you want to sell it? How much you want? And then they give you the P&L or rent roll. That's all I need. I only need the P&L and the rent roll. And then I'll do my own research. I'll do the police report. I'll do the neighborhood demographics report. I'll have somebody go there. Most of my brokers, within 45 minutes, they're at the property themselves, giving me 200 pictures of the property and putting in the Dropbox right that evening. I say, hey, if you want decision from me, if I like it or don't like it, I buy within 24 hours. I buy in 24 hours. We do underwriting. I send my report to my lender, my loan broker, and he underwrites it. So he tells me in 4 hours, Vinney, this is what you could pay from this range to this range. So when we send the LOI, letter of intent, I put hard money up there along with it. Hey, this is 50,000 yours, seller. If I buy or not buy, it's yours. And then this is my price and things like that, So answer your question in a roundabout way, it's a long process. It's a pretty long process, Understanding the numbers, understanding, all those things. And then disposition, then not only that, but managing the property also, for 3 to 5 years. We have syndication attorneys, like I said, Gene Trowbridge, Kim Taylor. I have real estate attorney, Milton Colegrove. He's been doing business with me for 11 years. I have only met him 3 times, face to face, when I took him out for lunch when I went to Dallas. But he's on text, he's on everywhere. Wherever he goes for vacation, he picks up my call because I pay him well. Alrighty, well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time this evening. I hope you were able to find out a little bit about multifamily. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you,
again, Vinny.
Chris.
Everybody,
Thank
one more
you.
round of
Thank
applause.
you. Thank you, Ryder.